Welcome to this first episode. I want to make sure that everybody's hearing me all right. Um, Welcome to this first episode of the Gavel, your Wednesday recap of the legal news and events that pertain to our community. Before we begin, I want to start with a little piece of my favorite psalm that was told to me by somebody with a very kind heart to always invoke it every day. So I wanted to say that whoever dwells in this Psalm 91, whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. If you say the Lord is my refuge and make the Most High your dwelling, no harm will overtake you, no disaster will come near your tent. And that is exactly what I'm asking for. We want to make sure that this space, this short space that I'm going to be here with you is protected, because I just want to convey very important matters that are pertain to our community and that are very relevant to the fight for civil rights and freedom that we are undertaking at Targeted Justice and the community as a whole. So I wanted to explain the reason why I titled this The Gavel is because I was inspired to choose it. It just came to me. I'm sure many of you get that oftentimes if you're connected. And I just wanted to echo the symbolism behind it, which is that it is a symbolism of justice that can be used to call the attention or to punctuate rulings and proclamations. And that is what I'm here for, to bring you to your attention the important developments affecting the victims of government weaponization as we tread on our path to reclaim our civil rights and ultimate freedom. Now, there are a lot of things happened this week, but I'm just going to touch on a few because I'm not going to have you here forever. What happened yesterday was courageous Representative Nancy Mace of South Carolina held House oversight hearings where she exposed and explained in detail the criminal peeping Tom, the voyeurism, peeping Toms, and rape that was filmed and very likely uploaded to the dark web. And she was one of the victims, and she has contacted many of the victims. And as we know, many people in this community have been victims, and continue to be victims of the same thing. So I urge you all to follow Representative Nancy Mace and to let her know, interact with her, and let her know this is happening to thousands of women and men. I don't discriminate against men, but it's mostly women that this has been done to around our nation and very likely around the world. But it is the crime behind it is that it is DHS funded, and the Congress and the Oversight Committee needs to get to the bottom of it, because the absolute impunity, as she describes how that man that raped her and filmed her did it with absolute impunity, and the Attorney General for the state of South Carolina refused to file charges. And that is one of the characteristics of parts of this program, that law enforcement is not there for the victims. And when you report a crime, what they do is they turn it around, they turn it against you, and try to make you feel that you are delusional and that you're making things up. So this is really important for you to follow and support this courageous woman. I really think she's not aware of the fact that she is a targeted individual. And we're going to go into that a little later. So please follow and spread her message. There's a lot of women that don't know this is happening to them. It is urgent that you ensure that every door and every window of your house is secure, because this is how these, including your attic, including your basement, this is how these criminals creep into your house. They're like mice. They creeping through the smallest of crevices. Now, one of the important things about her message, and I want to urge all TIs, because many of you, like I was, are naive about, you can be in a date
and you just go to the bathroom and they will put the roofies in your drink. Don't ever leave your drink alone without somebody guarding it, because this is one of the ways that these criminals get away with doing the things they do. Now, I'm going to go to my favorite subject, which is the criminals at the FBI, which, as many of you know, the people that are the victims of government weaponization have been illegally placed into secret categories of the terrorist screening database. It is important that you get really acquainted with this language, because this is the root of all evil. If you are not on this list, you are not assigned a number, which is the one that is used to target you everywhere else. You're not a name. You are a threat screening center number. And I guess that's part of, dehumanizing you, making you just a number, a target. So when Mr. Patel came into office, I want to remind you that he refused to use FBI agents as his security detail. He couldn't trust them. And then from now, last Sunday, 2 days ago, he reported 1,500 agents are being relocated around the nation. The Edgar Hoover building is going to be closed. However, I have to admit, it was a little bit disturbing for me that last week he went into the threat screening center, because as many of you know, the terrorist screening center has been renamed as a threat screening center. And he was praising the stunning and brave people that work there. However, as I go along, you will listen to some facts that prove otherwise, and that pretty much make it very urgent that he clear and clean up the house from the people that did not uphold the Constitution or the civil rights of anybody that they were handling. So the information is trickling out. One of the articles, let me see, I'm going to try to share with you. It's an article about a J6er. I was just outrageous. I was just so shocked. Let me try to, please bear with me. This is my first time doing this. So I hope that you are as patient with me as if you were the person doing it. So I'm going to put in the screen the share screen, an article where they explain this one, share this tab, where they explained what happened to this man. They laughed while they destroyed us. They laughed. Okay, it's not allowing me to share, but it's okay because I can do it with the images. And I'm going to read you what this article. There it is, WorldNet Daily. Okay, I'm going to read you what the article went on to say. They laughed while they destroyed us. Agonizing ordeal of one J6er at the hands of the weaponized FBI. The discovery material that was produced to this J6er showed that the FBI agents were mocking him while destroying his life. They recovered emails or text messages that had exchanges between two of the main agents in charge of him. And this is part, I'm going to read you part of the conversation between these two people. One goes and says, hopefully all related to him pleading out. No, he mentioned how we, the government, did things improperly. And I need to find other emails, but his one email with the defense indicates that they want to go to trial. So these people were spying on the privileged attorney-client communications, which is what they do with us, me as an attorney. On my privileged attorney-client communications are interfered with by these FBI criminals, because it is criminal for them to be interfering. I do not meet the probable cause standard to have an Article 3 warrant on me. and they cannot be interfering with attorney-client privilege conversations. So while they were laughing at this young man that is a Marine, he was retired from the Marine, he was taking his pension away, and they wanted to bankrupt him. And so they were trying to make his wife cheat on him and leave him. And so they have the article is just it's just very disturbing. I'm not going to read it because it really makes me a little nauseous to just go over it. But I urge you to look at it at WorldNet Daily. They are doing really good reporting about it. Okay, so the other article that I think many of you already saw was the the Gateway Pundit article that I shared in my Substack, where it showed the abuse, how they went into the house of this other J6er in the early hours of morning in a cold Kansas February, and they made his wife, who was pregnant at the time, walk out barefoot. And the next day she miscarried their baby. And that was in my article that you can see it. Let me share the screen here. It was here. They had a choice. They had a choice to do things right. And they chose the wrong path. They chose to abuse people. They chose to violate their civil rights. They chose to use excess force. And they chose to not uphold the Constitution. I urge you all to look at the video embedded in the Gateway Pundit article, where it shows the image of the young mother carrying the baby and the terrorized child by these stunning and brave FBI agents that went in the morning hours to his house. Now, the reason I'm covering this is because this week I wrote an article, and I included a sample letter that I am urging at least 1,000 TIs to send through tracked mail. And there are many reasons for this. Okay. The first one is that if Mr. Patel doesn't know that it was not just the Steele dossier and those around President Trump who were victims of the FISA Section 702 abuse, he needs to know. He needs to know who are those 278,000 victims that in the year 2020 and the beginning of 2021, the FISA court denounced as abusing the Section 702 proceedings. The FISA court told the FBI, you have been violating what it's called the Woods proceedings, which is the means through which they make sure that they are not subjecting innocent Americans to the illegal surveillance, warrantless surveillance under FISA. These applications, 278,000 of them. And this is why, particularly the digital warriors, I need you to make consistent reference, like a mantra, to these 278,000 victims of Section 702 abuse, because those are us. Those are the law-abiding Americans against whom the FISA court was weaponized. The FBI, some FBI agents have admitted they lied to the court in order to get these warrants under Section 702. So we need to allow Mr. Patel to verify there are thousands of these victims, and they are not faceless or nameless. They're not just a number. They are very real, and their lives have been substantially harmed because of the lies of these FBI agents that, for personal gain, because we know that in the Jim Jordan report of weaponization, when Mr. Steve Friend, former FBI, testified that people had financial benefits, financial incentives to declare more and more, classify as domestic terrorists more and more people. So not only did they betray the Constitution for their own personal gain, but they obliterated the civil rights of everyday Americans just to go up the ranks of the agency. Now, this letter writing campaign is important because we need Mr. Patel to look into the dossiers of each one of you, of each one of us. Because later on, we are going to demand, we're already demanding, I want to be removed from this list. It's illegal. It didn't contemplate having non-investigative subjects to begin with. So that is another illegality by the FBI agents that placed me on that list. So I really urge you to send this letter and send us, once you do the tracking, you go to USPS.gov, you verify it was delivered, send us a screenshot of it to tjustice2@proton.me. We are working, and we are working with the community. We're working with you to make this happen. We are going to demand the elimination of non-investigative subjects from the terrorist screening database. Now, why is this really, why are we in an important moment? Well, because the FBI agents, 6,000 of them, have filed a class action lawsuit in the District of Columbia asking the court to shield their names from public exposure. Mr. Ed Martin, who is a district attorney, he is a deputy attorney general, and he is in charge of the Committee on Government Weaponization. He's a patriot, and he's a very brave man who is trying to eradicate rogue FBI and DOJ employees that are loyal to the deep state. So the FBI, 6,000 agents filled out a questionnaire when DOJ sent out a questionnaire asking who had involvement in the January 6 cases. Some had very little involvement, some had huge involvement. But 6,000 in total of the 37,000 FBI employees had something to do with the accusations and prosecutions of over 600 J6ers. You're going to think, well, what do J6ers have to do with us? It has everything to do with us, because all of them have been declared domestic terrorists. And even though President Trump pardoned them, their pardon doesn't mean they were removed from the terrorist screening database. So they are in the same position as all of us that have been publicly denouncing the illegality of handling codes 3 and 4, which is the secret blacklist embedded within the terrorist screening database. Now, today was last week, the agents asked the court in a 4-page document that the court ordered DOJ to destroy the list that lists all of them that participated in the J6, and to prohibit Mr. Martin and anybody at DOJ from exposing them. So, as I wrote in my post in Substack, from being bullies, now they turn into cowards, saying, no, protect us. The problem is that public employees have no expectation of privacy whatsoever, particularly if they have acted contrary to law, which is what is being alleged in many of these cases. So as soon as I have that reply that is due today, I'm going to be informing you about it. So the letter I prepared for you had a lot of research involved. It's not just a plain letter. It's a letter that mentions quotes from the FISA court and facts that come from judicial and official files. So it puts you in the position where you're not being delusional writing this letter. This is a letter based on fact. It is a fact that only 0.28% pursuant to the Office of Inspector General of the Department of Justice last audit report, that only 0.28% consist of known and suspected terrorists, also known as the watch list. So handling codes 3 and 4, which constitute 97% of the terrorist screening database, is comprised of non-investigative subjects. That is the list that is responsible. It's given to 18,000 law enforcement, over 1,200 organizations, over 600 corporations, to spy on you and to report on you pursuant to Mr. Ray had a portal for those 600 corporations to report on any interaction with you. So this is a completely illegal, and I hope Mr. Patel has already started eradicating it. Now, we want to create a paper trail. Do you remember all the privacy requests, act requests that many of us sent to the FBI, and then they replied saying, we do not admit or deny any records relating to you? Well, there's two good news. Number one, the person that was in charge of that office, Mr. Michael Seidel, whom the Gateway Pundit deemed as the face of FBI corruption, either retired or has been relocated somewhere else because he's no longer seems to be in charge of that. However, he still has some of his, I would say, mentees in the FBI FOIA office. It is our desire to create a paper trail that cannot be denied in future Privacy Act and FOIA requests. When we send these letters, they cannot be denied by the FOIA office as non-existing there. The other important aspect of this letter is that when the day of reckoning comes, you will have a record in this agency that you had demanded to be taken off this illegal list. So I think that we should all join forces, send at least 1,000 letters, and make it extremely hard for Mr. Patel and Mr. Bongino to ignore our letters. Now, I'm going to, yeah, I think they're doing their job. They're trying. I'm answering here. I'm sorry if I cannot look at all the, yeah, it's cowardice, the absolutely cowardice behavior. I really urge everybody to check out Gateway Pundit and Zero Hedge every day, because that is where the news that are important to us are being told. No other truth teller is telling you. Mainstream media is not telling you about it, but these two outlets are. And I really urge you, and if you can afford it, support them and subscribe, because these are truth tellers. Now, I need to address something that it's been happening. Many of you may know that some people in the community have been hospitalized in mental institutions, forcibly so. And I really, as an attorney, there are things that, you know, when they tried to do that to me, well, I was an attorney. I knew what to say and what to do. But many of you are very naive, and you just make small talk with deputy sheriffs and police, and that's not a good thing for you to do. Number one, I have to remind you that when you are a targeted individual, the police and law enforcement, they're not there to help you. Many times they're there to entrap you. And I am not one of those that goes defund the police. My argument is make the police follow their oath and protect people, everybody alike, and not sell out to this criminal program. That is my posture, because police has an important role in our society. However, if you see 4 deputy sheriffs talking outside of your house and trying to make small talk with you, I promise you, they are not there to be your friends. They are there to try to entrap you and to either Baker Act you or put you away. So please, number one, no small talk. Number two, do not open the door. Have a chain in your door. And if they really insist on knocking on the door and you need to open the door, you open it with a chain in there. You do not close the door on an official's foot or hand, because then you're going to be accused of physical assault. You don't want to do that. But you need to protect yourself, because you're not going to invite them into your house or open the door just graciously. Now, after you do that, no ticket, no laundry. Do you have a warrant, sir? No? Okay, well, have a good day. And you close the door. You have nothing to talk with a deputy sheriff or a police. If they do have a warrant, you take out your camera or your phone, you make sure you film, and you make sure you say that you do not agree to anything outside of that warrant to be taken or inspected or in any way taken away from your house, occupied. Okay, so please be very, these people are very smart. I have to say, for example, that if we get silent hits, people in the terrorist screening database get silent hits. The police is going to try to talk to you, because the instructions that the threat screening center gives them is to try to gather evidence on you. If Mr. Matthew Huddle, who was a J6er, that for 10 minutes was sustaining conversations with the deputy sheriff, if he had simply just given him the papers, which you are obligated to do under the law, the insurance card and your license and the car's registration, you are obligated to do that. But other than that, you don't have to engage in conversation, okay? If he had done that, maybe he would be alive today. So I'm just saying this because I think we are at a very important moment where this is going to be shut down within the next month. And the criminals are desperate to harm as many of you, of us, as possible. So please just be very careful. That's all I'm asking. Do not volunteer statements, and don't volunteer information. You don't have to. Just call your friend if you want to talk to somebody, but not the deputy sheriff. The last thing I wanted to mention is that, unfortunately, there is somebody impersonating targeted justice in the community. And let me see if I can show you here. This is it. Okay. There is a fraudster impersonating targeted justice, asking people for money. And obviously, it's none of us. It's not Ana Toledo. It's not Richard Lighthouse. It says legal support. It is illegal for a non-law firm to advertise as providing legal services. We have tried to denounce this to Meta, which is the Facebook people, and I don't know if it's the criminals or Meta, but they don't let us report the fraud. So I ask you that make sure you don't report our official page, which is, Targeted Justice. This one says Targeted Justice Support. And if you look at this, our real page has the Lady Liberty in the landscape picture, which is the same one we have in our web page. This is a fraud. He's taking your money. And if you give this person your money, it's not targeted justice. And nobody should be defaming us, saying that we are scamming people, because targeted justice would never do that. Targeted justice has been here since 2017, and we have never scammed a single soul. So for those of you saying that you should abstain from making false statements of fact that are defamatory. Hola, Rosa. That is one of the pictures. He's another one of that there. Targeted Justice Support. Please, for those of you that are in Facebook, report this. It's a fake profile. It has 3,500 friends, okay? And it's just it's just taking advantage of people, okay? So please report it. Help us remove the people that are taking advantage. We know that the community has suffered a lot and continues to suffer a lot financially. We are we have predators from the government, we have scammers, and we know that that's happening. So please help others in the community not fall prey to this scam, which is just completely outrageous. A targeted justice information is everywhere. If you do want to make a donation, all you have to do is go straight to Targeted Justice webpage. We cannot provide legal services because we're not a law firm. So anybody that tells you that has to be a law firm, not some Facebook group that has some obscure way of asking for money. Okay, it's very unfortunate that this is happening, but the most vulnerable, unfortunately, are the ones that fall victim to people that have absolutely no scruples and are willing to do this kind of thing. So please help us protect those in our community that are most vulnerable. And finally, in closing, I just want to ask God to watch over this community that has been victimized for so long, to give us the strength to continue fighting for our civil human rights and our full freedom. And I have the personal request that you continue to keep Dr. Lambert in your prayers, because he's being atrociously abused, and he is a relentless spokesperson and fighter for not just targeted individuals, but those of you that have been diagnosed and that have Havana syndrome. So I urge you to watch next week. I'm going to keep it short because I want you to keep coming back. And I hope to see you next week. Thank you, Simone, for your prayers. Please, everybody, continue praying for him because it's very much needed. Thank you so much.